Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Black Wealth Project. My name is Kamari Ellis, the founder of the Black Wealth Project. And the Black Wealth Project is all about expanding the minds and thoughts about Black wealth and Black money. Kind of think of us like a financial think tank for Black folks. Today, we're going to talk about something that's very, very important, which is in the wakes of America basically burning down with all the police brutality and everything else going on. We have two wonderful guests from American Water Company. Now, American Water Company is a water utility that services people's water. They're a $25 billion company. And we're going to talk about supplier diversity, basically how Black businesses can leverage supplier diversity to increase their revenue. So this is not a joke. It's not a game. Be serious. Get your pen and paper out. We're going to have a great dialogue. My guest today is Sharon Manker. She is a supply diversity professional, has been in the industry for over 20 years. And we also had the pleasure of having her boss, Lawrence Wooten, who's been in the industry for quite a long time as well. Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Good afternoon. Glad to be here.
So was there anything that I missed that you might want the audience to know before we jump into it about yourselves?
Well, I'll kick it off. I have been in supplier diversity for upwards of 25 years now. Majority of my career working with a large government prime contractor in small business development, diverse business development, and been with American Water just 3 years now. So that's basically where I am right now. But been in this space for a long time now.
Okay. So let's start right here. What is supplier diversity? Can y'all let the audience know what that is?
Sure. Well, supplier diversity is the method by which we engage diverse suppliers, diverse defined as minority, women, veteran, BTQ, in our sourcing opportunities. A number of times, diverse suppliers are not thought of when we develop our purchasing strategy. So Sharon and I are responsible for developing the strategy to ensure diverse businesses are included in those sourcing opportunities. That goes from meeting with key stakeholders around the business, from our IT department, our engineering department, operations, construction, everything we buy, meeting with those folks, understanding what their needs are, and then linking that to diverse businesses. I'm a firm believer that diverse businesses are the engine of this country from an economic standpoint, and we need to be mindful when we are purchasing from different companies that we're including diverse businesses. As you mentioned, American Water is a fairly large company, and we're spread across the country, but we want to make sure that we're engaging businesses in the communities that we serve on a regular basis. So that's at a high level what supplier diversity is, building that strategy to ensure that small and diverse businesses are included in how we purchase our goods and services.
Okay.
Sharon, if you want to add to that.
Yeah, so a large part of what we do is the outreach. How do we get suppliers to connect with our business units across the country? How do we find them? How do we connect with them so that they know about opportunities that are coming up? And we share that information out with them, not only through social media, but through our contacts and through our portal as well. And through our other utility partners, we get information out so that we can include diverse suppliers in our business opportunities.
Gotcha. So I just want to add a little context around this conversation. So it was either yesterday or the day before, there was a conversation going on in the Black Wealth Projects group. We have a group on Facebook. And I put up a post and I asked, could you buy Black for a year? Based off of a video about Maggie Anderson. And if you don't know who Maggie Anderson is the author of Our Black Year. And she wrote a wonderful book about her experience, buying Black for a whole year. And so I asked our community, could you do it? And then as a result of that question, there was some dialogue in the group. And one of the members of the group said they couldn't buy Black for a year because for their business and their business owner, they were talking about their business. They wouldn't be able to buy Black for a year because some of the large equipment purchases that they buy fairly often, they weren't able to find Black suppliers or Black manufacturers. Here comes Sharon to the rescue. Hey, I know people that build these things, that make these things. So they were able to make a connection, and it looks like Sharon's going to be able to connect her with some black manufacturers of these major laboratory type equipment. So shout out to Vanessa Braxton, who was a part of that conversation. And from that conversation, Sharon and I started talking, because Sharon and I have been friends for years. And actually, I've been trying to have this conversation for quite some time, but it all kind of fell into place. And I was like, wow, there's a lot of resources out there that people don't know about, and that they should know about as it relates to Black business and just overall diverse supplier diversity. And so we said, all right, well, let's have this conversation. So Sharon, what gives you the passion to do that? Because you are very passionate about that. You're very passionate in general. Why are you passionate about supplier diversity?
I'm passionate because I see all these resources out there, and knowledge is power, right? Knowing how to connect to them, how to get to them. And I think about, if I hadn't just taken that moment just to look at that post and just to say, okay, I know of resources. How can I connect her with those resources, right? If we didn't have all of that, knowledge is power. With experience comes knowledge. And because we have a national footprint, we see stuff from multiple different angles as far as strategy. So for me, it's like, I know I have some piece of information that can help that business grow. And that's just where I come from. It comes from the heart. It comes from me wanting to see this Black business grow, this woman-owned business grow. It comes from me wanting to see other businesses grow, and how can I connect her to that? Okay. And it was important.
Now, do you find a lot of Black-owned businesses that are stepping up and getting involved with supplier diversity?
Yeah. So we're finding a lot of them, not only through our corporate sponsorships, through partnerships and councils, but also through conversations like this and our networks, because supplier diversity professionals across the state, across the nation, we actually speak to each other, and we refer businesses that are doing over exceptional job for us, or that we know have done an exceptional job for other corporations or businesses. And so that's highly important and highly valued. Gotcha.
Now, we lost Lawrence there for a minute. I think he's trying to come back in now. We'll add him in just a second. Okay. But it seems like, right, when we look at biodiversity, supplier diversity, a lot of times what I find is a lot of Black-owned businesses don't know about many of the programs and don't understand the process of getting involved with a major corporation to be a part of their supply chain. So what are some of the things that a lot of people miss out or have misconceptions about?
Hey, you guys got me back. Did you get me back?
Yeah, we got you back.
Okay, sorry about that. Let me just step in for one quick second. I'm apologizing for that. But Maggie Anderson, I want to get back to that because that's a very poignant point. I actually have her book, also an autographed copy of it.
Okay.
I met Maggie quite a few years ago now, where she was a speaker at it. I was chairman of the Greater New England Minority Supplier Development Council at the time. And so, yeah, it was very impressive, the fact that she was able to buy Black for an entire year. And she talked about the struggle behind that, finding different businesses in order to, support her family. It was her husband, and I believe at the time it was 2 children. So it was, I just want to make that point, how impactful that was. It wasn't easy. So your point earlier about Sharon being able to connect another MBE Black-owned business to others is definitely poignant and very important, because we don't know the resources that are out there and available to us. So I just want to make that point. Sharon, I'm going to let you talk about resources that we have available to diverse businesses, et cetera. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. So Kamari, I actually had to sit here and write down a whole bunch of lists of resources that we utilize in order to be able to connect suppliers. So for our
Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Let's get back to the question now. Remember, I asked, what are some of the misconceptions about getting involved with supplier diversity and things like that? Because I know a lot of people in their minds are saying, well, I'm just a little company. I'm not going to qualify to do supplier diversity. I can't even think about that right now. I wanted to speak to that real quick.
So one thing is the misconception of that they're too small or don't have enough or don't. If you're a business, you're a business. You have to function as a business. And as a business, your business imperative is to grow. So how can you grow?
Right.
And you got to make the connections. You got to have the relationships because relationships matter.
And so, all right, brand new business, right?
Kamari, let me just piggyback on that. And look, when folks start a business, one, it's passion. They have a passion for whatever product or service that they're selling. You need to have that same passion as you move forward. You've got confidence in yourself by starting a business, confidence in yourself that you can work with a company such as American Water. Now, the point being is, and we all know the reality is not everyone can work for a company like American Water, etc. But what we do is make sure that if you can't work directly for us, we have our Prime Supplier program where we introduce diverse supply Black-owned businesses to the primes who are doing the larger projects. So to Sharon's point about growing, today you may not be ready to work for American Water, but don't think that that just cuts you out of everything, because behind the scenes we're talking to all of these large prime suppliers and saying, look, this is important to us. It needs to be important to you, and we want to be able to introduce those businesses to them at that time. So hopefully that helps explain that too.
Absolutely. But real quick, can you tell the audience what a prime supplier is? How do you get that?
Sure. So a prime supplier is American Water. We put pipe in the ground. We're a water utility company. So we'll use a large construction company who gets that contract to help us put that pipe in the ground and put in new water systems. They are that prime supplier. So a large construction company is that prime supplier. Now, the ask of that prime supplier is, okay, you're not doing everything in-house. Expectation is that you're using subcontractors, as we call them. We want to make sure that you're reaching out to the diverse business community for those contracts that you're going to sub out as that large prime supplier. So that prime supplier is the company that has the contract directly with American Water. The subcontractor are the suppliers that prime supplier hires to do and support the work that they're doing on behalf of American Water.
Gotcha. One more question, real quick. So I know you said put pipes in the ground. That's the majority of your business. How to get water to the households and the businesses that need them. But what about some of the other products that American Water might use? Desk and office supplies.
Yeah.
You guys have water jugs, right? Spring water there. Probably not, right? You probably use your own water to do that.
We're not a bottled water company.
I know that.
And we do. We frown on people having bottled water at their desk. We buy all that. I mean, we just like any other large company. Yes, we have office supplies. We have desk. We buy IT services. We buy janitorial services. All of that stuff. Now, we're a mature company, so of course we have stuff under contract now. But if you come to us and we talk to what we're working on now is we work with our stakeholders to say, what are you going to buy, or what is your strategy six months to a year out? We know stuff is under contract today because we've got to operate like any other company, but we want to get ahead of the game. Are you going to source that contract 6 months to a year out? Because we want to make sure that we're identifying suppliers at the early stage of that procurement opportunity.
Gotcha. And I guess I was also asking, do you have to be a prime to bid on something like that in-house, or can any vendor potentially bid on that?
Yeah, and again, I don't want to take this over because Sharon, like I said, I told you before, you know who the boss is. So I'm just gonna say, yeah, I'll say like office supplies. I mean, right now we have a contract with Office Depot or whatever, But when the contract comes up, we're not opposed to, say, a smaller company bidding on that job. As long as you can, support what we need and what the information and the request for proposal is or whatever. No, we're not opposed to folks bidding on that job.
Okay.
And just to piggyback off that, Kamari, so don't take prime supplier out of context. Like, I just want to put some context around it, right? A prime supplier is one that has a direct contract with the American Water Company. It could be diverse or non. And our job is to make sure that we are including diverse suppliers in all opportunities that are coming up to bid. So if something's new, we're gathering that information. We're working with our internal stakeholders. What's about to come 6 months, 8 months, 12 months down the line. And we're contacting suppliers and saying, hey, this opportunity is coming up. Are you ready? Are you positioned? Are you ready? Will you be able to bid? If you're not ready, what do you need to do to get ready for that bidding opportunity? You need resources, you need information. Then we connect them with EMSDC, NMSDC, WeBank, NGLCC, wherever we need to get them the resources that they need, because they could say, well, I'm about to hire some more staff, so I need to get them ready. So I won't be ready for this bid, but I'll be ready for the next. We've had those instances. So now, we're doing that on the background.
Is there a baseline of what you would define as being ready to do business with American Water? Like, do you have to be of a certain size or?
That's a good question. And I would say it differs by category. I mean, like if I'm going to, I'll say a construction project, and the construction project, and I'll say it's a $6 million job. We probably want that work history that you've done similar jobs like that of scale, and probably in revenues of, say, I don't know, maybe 10 million a year or something like that. So it differs by category what we're buying. A janitorial firm, quite honestly, if we're just, say we're doing a janitorial bid for our Camden facility, the headquarters facility, the expectation is that most likely you're a local business. You've got staff of, I'll say about, or access to staff of 25 people, et cetera, et cetera. So it differs by category, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, but I'm
trying to get each category.
Mm-hmm. They're trying to get capacity.
I'll say this, Kamari, and I like to be real. Honestly, if you're two guys in a truck, you're probably not ready for American Water. That's what I mean. But I don't want a business to say, okay, I'm not going to go to American Water, because we still want to talk to you, because that 2-man in the truck might be able to work for one of our prime suppliers. You know what I mean? So we're not opposed to talking to any business. We want to help businesses move in the right direction. I mentioned a key word earlier is grow. This is about helping business to grow. So don't feel like, all right, I can't. American Water is this, $6 billion company. I can't approach them. No, approach us and we'll point you in the right direction, because part of our job is development and helping small business. So we want to point you in the right direction. It might not be working for American Water. It might not even be working for one of our prime suppliers. To your earlier point, Sharon was able to help a business that has nothing, and Sharon, you tell me if I'm wrong, nothing to do with American Water. We want to be a resource to business. You know what I mean? So that's what we should be doing.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Sharon, you were about to go into some of the resources, and you threw a bunch of alphabets out there for folks. And I know.
It's alphabets too.
I gotta get ready to go, but I gotta say this: she does that all the time. NMSDC is the National Minority Supplier Development Council. WeBank is the Women Business Enterprise National Council. I would ask Sharon to get a list of those acronyms so you can share with.
I need to tape it up here next to my computer, because I do throw the acronyms out. My bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you being here, Larry.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get to talk some more about
Yeah.
minority diversity.
Yeah, I apologize. I got a 1 o'clock call I got to get on. So
Totally understand.
I enjoyed this,
Thank
and
you.
hopefully we can meet in person. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks again.
Now I'll let my boss take over.
Oh, Larry. Yeah. So I do throw out a lot of acronyms. My bad. It's just it's my day to day.
I know it's your day to day. That's why it's my job to stop you, because I got to try to make sure. Yeah, and try to make sure we answer the questions that the audience want to know. So,
Okay.
All right. So we had Minority Diversity Supplier Council.
The Eastern Minority Supplier Diversity Council.
Okay.
That is for specifically, that's the affiliate that deals with Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware.
Okay.
There are other affiliate organizations to NMSDC, the National Minority Supplier Diversity Council, that are all over the U.S. And beyond. So I would tell people they are also on Facebook, and they are posting, and they are sending information that are free resources for you. Connect with them. When I was also talking about WeBank. So WeBank is the Women Business Enterprise Center, and WeBank East supports Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware.
Gotcha.
As a part of WeBank East, I'm on the Women of Color Committee. Shout out to them. We're also putting together stuff for women of color businesses in the area so that we could connect and help them grow in this time. So there are local resources available as well.
Now, can you break down what each one of those organizations does real quick?
Yeah. So the NMSDCs, especially EMSDC, the CEO of that council is Val Cofield. Her and her team help MBE, so that's Minority Business Enterprise, help them get certified, help with this is where the Black-owned businesses fall in. They help get MBE to MBE spend. So that program actually helps Black-owned businesses partner with other Black-owned businesses who are trying to spend money with them. Okay. Also, there is a campaign now. I know that you and I talked about the 1% challenge. And what they're doing is promoting small and micro businesses across the region. And that is an initiative not only for corporations, but also for individuals to support Black-owned businesses in the area. A part of that, there's another group on Facebook called Besties in Business. Shout out to them. So I was able to get all of those businesses in their directory now linked to the Join the 1% Challenge campaign. So the council is actually sending email blasts out to all of its members and affiliate partners and saying, hey, spend money with these businesses.
And these businesses are Black businesses, right? And so yes. You were asking for corporations to spend at least 1% and with a Black business. Is that correct?
Yes.
Or a Black-owned business. Like, yes. We're talking billions of dollars. Because I know I believe you guys do roughly $2 to $3 billion a year in revenue. So if you're looking at some of the other companies, they're probably somewhere in that area.
Yeah. So, and if you can only imagine, so some people don't know about these businesses, right? Some of them are sustaining businesses. They've been in business for more than 10 years. Some are new businesses. They've only been in business 1 to 3 years. So people need to get to know them. They don't have this exposure. So it's providing exposure to these businesses that would not other have had the opportunity for individuals or corporations to even know who they are.
Gotcha. All right. So I'm glad you cleared up the alphabet soup. So talk some of the other things that you see when it comes to supplier diversity and how Black businesses can start to leverage things there.
Leverage your relationships, right? You need to, in this climate, make sure that you have a finance guy, make sure that you have an IT guy, because cybersecurity is highly important. Make sure that you're not discounting MBE to MBE, minority business to minority business spend, because there are large minority business firms who are looking to do work with minority businesses. So there are Black businesses who are looking for Black businesses to spend their money with, and don't discount that, right? And you can leverage those relationships when you do have, when you are connected on Facebook to specific groups, or you are connected to councils and chambers to get information, because access to that information is everything, right? Yeah.
Now, I mean, it's funny to say leverage relationships, right? I think we've known each other for at least a decade. I think, give or take a couple of years.
Here we get take off.
Yeah, give or take a couple of years. So, obviously there was a relationship there. We've been talking about this for a while, but this is how things happen. They happen due to relationships, due to good relationships. Just meeting somebody and knowing somebody doesn't necessarily dictate a relationship. And I know sometimes people confuse that. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, because you got to get to know people, and don't be shy about getting to know them, right? Because people cold call me all the time. All the time.
So you like getting cold called? You sure you want to say that?
I do not like getting cold called. I like
cold email.
For you to have a specific ask or tell. I need to know what you can do for the organization. If you are going to call a company, if you are a Black-owned company and you want to sell your product or service, do your research on the company you are trying to get in business with. Don't come to me and say, I have this, idea for this bottle for the water. We don't bottle water. So that means you didn't do your research. Know the company that you are going to be doing, that you want to give your product and service to. Know their business model. Do their research on their website. Find out where you can fit in. And you could say, hey, Sharon, I have this opportunity to help you decrease money because it looks like you guys are doing this type of professional service and in this area, and I can support that area. I can be of use because I have this technology and it can help you do X, Y, Z. Be very specific in your ask, be very specific in your tell, because the amount of emails, calls, that we get are very high, and we need to be able to distinguish you.
So what's the weirdest cold call you got that they were offering?
So I had one person who was not only very pushy, which totally turns me off, but was like, oh yeah, so I wanted to sell this product to you, and I think you should do it just because I'm certified as a minority-owned company. I have my MBE certification, and you should just do it so you can have the diversity spend. I said, well, that has nothing to do with our industry. I have no way I can make a use of your product or services for what we do.
What was it?
I'm not even gonna say. And then,
I had to ask.
But he essentially thought that we were a bottled water company and that we were selling bottled water and that they could sell their product to us for the bottled water. And I was like, that's not what we do. Anything to do with what we do. And so I said, you have to go back and you have to know your audience, know what we're doing, know the type of work that we're doing across the country, and then we can see where it fits in. But yeah, I get crazy calls.
So can we stay right there for a minute? Right. So we talked about research, right? So, and we understand it's a process. So in order to even start to do business with an American Water or any other major, they probably want to get MBE certified. Is that correct?
I would recommend that. And here's why. So for larger corporations, in order for us to count your spend, you have to be certified by a third party, and a recognized third party, whether it's federal, state, or local. And we can't count that spend and report it to the public utility commissions unless it is. So we have a whole segment of suppliers that we currently deal with that are self-certified, and we work with them to help get them certified. How do we help get them certified? We connect them with those councils and organizations that can help certify them. We give them those options, we give them those contacts, and we connect them with the right people. So in that aspect, that's when your relationships matter. That's when your connections matter, because we can help to facilitate those certifications by getting them to the right person, the right documents, and helping them to understand what they need to complete that process.
Gotcha. Now, we talked about research, right?
Mm-hmm.
What type of, I mean, I know you kind of went through it fast, but I want everybody to kind of understand how important research is. What should a person be looking at, right? They've got their MBE certification, which is Minority Business Enterprise, correct? MBE?
Correct.
Right. So they've got their MBE, and now they're in the marketplace shopping to figure out who they can do business with and see how their company aligns with other companies out there. What should they be looking like specifically?
Specifically, so you're a Black-owned MBE and you are looking to figure out, okay, how can I connect so that I can get a contract? How can I get a deal, right? How can I make this happen? Depending on where you did your certification, they may have resources already available to you. So that's the reason why I bring up like the African American Chamber, and I bring up
Philadelphia African American Chamber,
Philadelphia specific, area stuff like the Eastern Minority Supplier Diversity Council, because I know they specifically have resources for their membership to connect them to upcoming deals. So American Water is a private investor-owned water utility, largest in the U.S. We do not have a public-facing bid module, right? You have to be invited. So you will never know of our opportunities unless you're connected to our resources and strategic partners.
And do other because you guys are publicly traded, right? So do other companies kind of follow that same model in practice? You have to be invited.
There are, I won't say most, but yes, they do. Especially in the utility space, you will not find many that have outward-facing sourcing portals, but there are some that do.
Okay, and I'm assuming that's where relationships come into play.
Yes,
because if they know a person like you or Lawrence or someone else in that space, they can say, "Hey, I have this type of business, and I'm looking to do business with you guys. Can you walk me through the process?" Correct?
Yeah, and I have an instance. I'm gonna tell you an instance that happened just last week. I got a text message from someone at one of the council, and they said, "I'm looking for a Black-owned marketing company in the area that can do a project now." I said, "Hold on, let me turn on my computer." I knew of one that I had spoken to. I knew that they're positioned to be able to jump on the opportunity now. Sent them the capability statement, contact information. Today, I actually watched them do a live Facebook broadcast with the chamber, with the council, and I was so excited. Like, I made that happen. Like, this is such a success story. But that's sometimes how things happen. I had one instance where I heard of an opportunity while I was at lunch in the office, and it was like, wait, I think I have a supplier. I overheard a conversation, and I was just like, I have a supplier that they can include in that. And walked over, "Hey, I heard you're about to do something." They said, "Yeah, we're sending that bid out tonight." I was like, "But, I think I have a supplier that you can include in that. Do you mind doing that for me? Do you mind looking at them if I send you their capability statement?" Ran upstairs to my office, sent it over, was texting the CEO of that company like, "Hey, I think this is something that you could do. I just remember, when we met, you said you do this type of work." And it turned into a deal for them.
Right.
So things like that happen on the fly.
Right. And it's funny, right? So the other day I put up on, I think, Facebook and Twitter, I said, in the Black community, we do a thing called protest shaming. We're doing a lot of protest shaming right now. And I said, we need to really stop protest shaming because we don't know what people are doing, how they're working, where their gifts and anointings lie. And there's people in the background doing work that you have absolutely no idea about, right? And so that right there is an instance. You weren't protesting, you were just being Sharon, the lover of Black-owned businesses, right? And you said, wait a minute, I got a Black-owned business for that opportunity. And how many people's lives will be impacted by that? And I'm guessing that the contract could be anywhere from 4 to 6 figures, right? It's not chump change. It's not something to, turn your nose up to. And I think we have to, as a community, we got to start to understand this a little bit better.
And that's important because sometimes things comes up that are just in the network, right? So I'll hear opportunities from, shout out to Iola Harper and the city of Philadelphia and PGW and PICO. Yeah, right. So
Iola has done a lot to help.
Absolutely.
To make contracting better for Black-owned and minority-owned businesses at the city of Philadelphia.
Absolutely. So between PGW, PICO, y'all know in the background, we talking. We making sure that, hey, it's some opportunities about to happen. I don't have anything right now, but here's a supplier. Or we'll get information and we share information on suppliers. Right? We're like, hey, they just came in and did a presentation for me, but I don't have anything for them. Hey, you may have something in the pipeline. So we push those and we share those capability statements out. We do the same thing here on Facebook, right? So I'm in another group that's a private group of just national supplier diversity folks. And when we're looking for stuff on the fly, we'll see something pop up in the middle of the afternoon or from the West Coast. And it's like, hey, I'm about to do an RFP for digital marketing services or something, or this type of service. And we all start shooting up names. Here's their name, here's a certification, here's how you get in contact with them so they can be included. A lot of behind the scenes work is being done to promote Black businesses.
Right. Now, you've said this term twice now, capability statement. Can you tell the audience what a capability statement is?
Yes.
And what it's used for?
A capability statement is a whole list of everything that your products and services that your company has to offer. It is a one-page just overview of your company, what you can do, how you can do it, who you've worked with, your work experience. It could be concise but dynamic. Your capability statement can tell a corporation what you have to offer in a one-page summary. We use those capability statements to share information with our internal stakeholders, to share information to other businesses, to share information to councils. They use it to send it back to us. It's your brochure, if you will, of what you can do, how you can do it, and important and critical for next steps in getting your business information out there.
Gotcha. All right. And so you said something else. I can't, you said something else that escapes me right now.
So, I said a lot of stuff. I talk a lot.
I know. You're actually being shy today. I think you're a little scared. You're a little nervous, but it's all good. It's all good. I appreciate you being here. But so you have your capability statement. You've got your MBE certification. You're applying to people. And then what's next? What should you be doing?
Well, one, you should know, like I said, know your audience, know who you are communicating to. Long, lengthy emails of what you do, blah, 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 and all that stuff. Don't do that. Don't do that. Be brief, clear, and concise. Who are you? What can you do? Why should I be now?
What, where, why?
Yeah, because I'll see some emails and literally if you print them out, it's like pages. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going, no, I don't know. I can't.
Do you totally ignore those? For the record.
Skim. And if you have a capability statement attached, it's easier for me to see what you do and try to do some targeting. Otherwise, I can't delve into those as best as I can. What I do with those is I actually just reply back and I ask them to put it into our portal. So we have a supplier registration and supplier diversity reporting portal, which is a free tool. It's free for you to go in and register. And what that allows is for our stakeholders, our current primes, to go find you, for our engineering, operations, and supply chain people to find you, to include you in opportunities. It just doesn't mean you're approved to do work with American Water. It means that we can find your information.
Right.
We can see that you have the capabilities to do what we need, and we can include you in bids.
Gotcha.
For that. Yeah.
But you guys don't accept public offers. You have to request them. So how does somebody even get the offer extended to them? Because they can't sign up for the portal, right? Because you said you don't.
Anybody can sign up for the portal. Our portal is free.
Okay. Okay.
So it's a database. All it is a database of suppliers. So you upload your information, you can upload your certificate, you can upload your business information. The third-party company that runs our portal in the background, they're validating that stuff is correct so that you are a real company. Okay. And so I'm able to go in there. I'm actually the portal admin for our organization, but our stakeholders, our buyers can go in there and they say, oh, I got this job in Tennessee. I'm looking for a landscaping company. Run a list. I pull a list of all landscaping companies. I have one request from state of Indiana for our Indiana American Water location. The buyer, John, sent me some information. He said, I need tree services suppliers for Indiana. I said, okay. So I went to the database, put in there, tree services, Indiana, pop me out a list.
Right.
So, and then I was able to send that list over and get that information over to them. So those databases are vital.
Gotcha. Now let's back up real quick. RFP, you mentioned that once or twice. What is an RFP? What's that process like?
A request for proposal. So if you are fortunate enough to be included in the RFP process, we have an electronic procurement system called Coupa, and we do our stuff electronically. It used to be a whole bunch of paper processes. We have evolved. So it's now all electronic. But in order to be included in those RFP, those requests for proposal events where you'll get information on the project electronically, and then you're expected to reply to that bid electronically. And then the category lead will let you know whether you got the bid or not. Okay. So that's the simplest way to it's a lot that goes in the background of that, but that's the simplest way to explain it. And in order to be included in an RFP process, we have lists of suppliers that we use that are currently in our system that have done business with us for a long time. In order to be a new supplier to be included in the list, that's when these relationships, these conversations really, really matter, because we go into the different, not only our database, but we go into the National Minority Supplier Diversity Council's database. We go into WeBank Link, which is the Women Business Enterprise Council's national database, and we pull those lists. And then we ask our local affiliates, okay, who's the best of the best? Because this list maybe have like 100 suppliers on it.
If not more.
I need to know who's the best of the best.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, and let's say I get MBE certified. I submit my capability statement. I respond to the RFP request. I get selected. Mm-hmm. When do I get paid?
Ooh, when do you get paid? Well, you get paid when you do the actual job. One, okay. So our payment terms are net 45, right?
Okay. I'm a money guy, so we can't just.
I know you're the money guy, so it's net 45. We have an electronic invoicing system, so it's pretty cool. It's free for our suppliers to use, where they can submit their invoices electronically. It gets approved through our system electronically, and they get paid faster.
So 45. So for everybody that's watching, right, net 45 means you usually get paid 45 days after you submit your invoice. Sometimes it's 45 days after the invoice is accepted, or
Correct.
it depends. Everybody's system is different. So I just want everybody to understand that. So is y'all's 45 days from submittal or approval?
Approval.
Okay. Okay. So
And sometimes it also depends on the category too. But here's a good thing that, like a really cool thing that we have. So with our e-invoicing Tolia Supplier Portal, suppliers can choose to get paid faster at a discount. They can say, you know, I got this invoice, it's $10,000. I need to get paid by Friday. They can choose to take, give us a discount, and we can pay them faster.
Gotcha. What's the normal discount? You say 2%, 3%, 5%?
It depends. That varies.
Okay.
There's no set amount.
I mean, that's actually a tool. A lot of people who bill out to, who are having cash flow shortages, they will offer a discount to their customers and clients as well. So yeah.
Well, just a huge shout out to our national categories team and their leads. Right now, they're actually working on making sure that any suppliers that are in our current system, because we are not there physically, that they're not doing the paper invoices. We have a huge push to make sure those suppliers are getting into our Tolia system so that they're getting paid electronically. Gotcha. As we go through this epidemic and everything that's going on around the country, we found that some people were still mailing in invoices, and we're like, please stop, because
right.
Yeah.
So we're kind of rounding out. I don't want to take up all your time. I know it's Friday. I know you're still working and on the clock. So this is the last question I have for you. What businesses or what areas of businesses would you like to see Black-owned businesses more present in, and overall supplier diversity?
So we are deep in construction and engineering space. So that's where my passion lies right now. But I can't say I can narrow it down to one specific industry, because for me, I like to see us thrive in all categories, right? I like to see us thrive in telecommunications. I like to see us thrive in legal services. I like to see us thrive in, you know, those professional services that sometimes get missed when the tail end spend, because, you know, they're a few million, but not up there. I'd like to see us capture more presence in there.
Let me ask the question a different way then.
Go ahead.
What categories do you feel that Black businesses are not highly represented in, that you would like to see them more represented in?
I would like to see in the utility space more Black construction firms, especially working with us. Okay. I've seen an increase in engineering firms, but I would really like to see more of the Black construction firms that will participate in our sourcing events. And I would also like to see more in, like I said, the legal services. That's one of my passions right now. And I have some that are actually going to be participating in our event that we're going to be hosting. But those are more my personal niche from my experience looking at the procurement spend that we have had with our company.
So I got to ask this question. I'd be a terrible interviewer if I didn't. You said legal services, right? So what are you having lawyers do? Are they negotiating contracts? Are they fighting lawsuits? What in any particular area that you're looking for?
So more so regulatory law. If regulatory law experience, it could change from state to state. It could change from district to district. So we have a national presence. And so for us, we need more regulatory attorneys with regulatory experience. It's not like personal injury law or any of that. It's very specific to our industry, to assist with our corporate attorneys who are doing rate cases across the country.
Gotcha.
We have an awesome team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, any thoughts, any closing out thoughts that you might have?
I want to just thank you for this conversation. You know, when we reached out and, you know, we text and we talk all the time and we're like, well, how can we do more to support, you know, Black owned businesses? And, you know, I'm always posting in your group like, hey, this is out there or this opportunity is out there. I just hope that people just stay in the know, right? I hope that when we share information out, whether it's on Facebook or LinkedIn, on different resources, be mindful because some of those come with very short window timeframes, right? Of when you can apply for that money or when you could get those resources. Some are free, some are at a cost. We try to share as much as we can. When we can, get involved, get connected, and stay connected.
Got you. Well, I appreciate you. Listen, this is not going to be the last conversation because we kind of just touched on the surface. We can go a lot deeper on supply diversity and just overall doing business with corporations in general. And there's a billion plus, there's billions and billions and billions of dollars that are out there that many of us are not going after because, like you said, we're not in the know. And so my job is I'm trying to help more people know. So
my job is to connect people so they do know.
We basically got the same job. Listen, we can't have enough of us.
Yes, we have to advocate for businesses, especially these small businesses. We want them to thrive. We want them to grow. We want them to sustain. And unless we decided to jump on and have this conversation, get the information out, they're not going to go. They're going to be stagnant.
Right.
We don't want that.
I agree. I totally agree. So I thank you for joining us today and sharing all this valuable information. People, I hope that you follow up. Sharon, do you have a public-facing social media or anything where people can find you?
I usually just send people to my LinkedIn because I actually post more information out there than I do on any other platform. But we'll do that, and we'll also share the link to our supplier registration and diversity reporting portal. So if businesses are in there, they're able to get more information. And don't be shy because you're not working with the water industry. Just a quick example before we go. I sent some information out to some suppliers that were just in our database, which is also connected to other organizations. And a barbershop responded back to me and sent me an email. He said, I got your email blast about this funding that was available in my city. And I just wanted to tell you, thank you. A barbershop in North Jersey. And I was just like, you're welcome. I see the information out there. I see it's only for the specific district or the specific state. And I send it out to every single supplier I find in the database that is in that state.
So wait a minute, you have a barber that's in your supplier diversity database?
So our supplier diversity portal is powered by a company called B2G Now, who actually hosts the databases for other organizations and certifying bodies. So we may not have a one-on-one connection with them, but we are able to access information in that database.
Gotcha.
So I just run a list of the supplier list.
So, but that barbershop is on somebody's supplier list in their database.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So even barbershops can get in on it.
Absolutely.
All right. That's great.
We get information, we share it out.
Well, everybody, thank you for watching the Black Wealth Project. I appreciate you all. Remember, every Sunday at 7:00, we do our weekly town hall meeting. So remember, Sunday, 7 p.m., we do our weekly town hall meeting. It's broadcast on Facebook and YouTube. I would ask that you all follow us at the Black Wealth Project on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. So until the next time, stay serious about your money and stay Black. I'll see y'all later.
Thank you.